Today we're going to skip lesson 3 for now. We'll cover that on Friday. Today we're going to cover lesson 4, and then I'm going to give you some time after class or after the lesson for you to finish the work that was assigned on Tuesday and Wednesday. Some of you may be reading this already, but I want to remind y'all that composition books are going to be taken as quiz grades after each unit. So if you're not keeping up with your composition book, you're going to want to get those from your classmates and make sure that your book is in the order that it's supposed to be. If it's not, you're going to be penalized for it. It's supposed to be an easy grade. So if you just copy your notes, you should be fine. Remember, if you're absent, you can get it from a classmate. The lessons are on YouTube, so if you want to watch those, they're on YouTube. The lessons for each, the name for each lessons are on the board, so if you need to look at those, you can. But for right now, I need you to go ahead and turn to page 9 of your composition book. Alright, so like I said, we're going to skip lesson 3 today, and we'll get to it tomorrow. So basically, this is an addition to what we talked about on Tuesday. It's being able to look at the tables and be able to figure out where your solutions are. But in this case, it wants you to look at the equations and know how to get the equations from it. So if you look at number 1, it says which of the following systems of the equations can be used to determine the point of intersection of the lines whose coordinates are on the table. Okay, so from last semester, when you are given 2 or more points, you should know that that is a stat problem. Now, at the front of the classroom, there's a big poster that says stat. It has the steps for it. But we're going to write it down here as well so that you remember how to do those. You need to get that stuck in your head. Okay, so basically here's what I need you to know. They're saying that for line 1 and 2, your x's are 0, 5, and 10. So I'm going to have a number here. And then I'm going to have x here as well because it's talking about 2 separate lines. And then it has the y for line 1. It has 20, 95, and 170. So this is line 1. Line 2 has the points 10, 135, and 260. Okay, so in order to use stat, I went ahead and wrote down these steps. Go ahead and copy those down. While you're copying, I'm going to go ahead and explain what everything means. So in order to use stat, you have to have at least 2 x's and 2 y's. So you would press stat. So everything that's in a box basically is a button on your calculator. So here you would press stat, enter, and it would give you a screen where it gives you L1 and L2. Well, L1 are the x's and L2 are the y's. So after you've typed in those, you press stat, you go to the right. It's going to give you the screen calc. You're going to press 4, and then you're going to enter 5 times. So you press enter, and then you will do that 5 times. So let's go ahead and show you how to do that in the calculator. So some of y'all need to remember that you need to be following these steps as we're going. Okay, so I went ahead and typed in almost this correctly. Okay, so those are the 3 points that you have. You have 0, 5, 10, 20, 95, 170. Okay, so calculator steps. I want to show you these buttons because some of you guys are confused and don't know where they're at. So you're going to press stat and then enter. Oh, we've already done that part. Well, I've done that part. That's where I typed in the x's. Okay, the next step is to press stat. You're going to go to the right. Now this is why it has calc in parentheses, because it's going to calculate something for us. We're going to press the number 4. This screen will come up, and you're going to press enter 5 times. So if I were to plug in my A, it would be y equals 15x, and if I were to plug in my B, it would be plus 20. So that's my first line. So line 1, its equation is y equals 15x plus 20. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing for this next one. So I'm going to go back to stat, enter, and on this, lucky for us, all we have to do is change the y's. So we're going to change the y's to 10, 135, and 260. So again, I'm going to use those keys, stat, I'm going to go to the right, I'm going to press 4, and I'm going to press enter 5 times. So now I'm given 25 and 10. So A is 25, B is 10. So for line 2, it's y equals 25x plus 10. So if you look, G gives us the right answer. So again, all you have to do is use stat on this. Alright, so on this next one, it doesn't give us answer choices, but that's okay because we did this before we got an answer choice. So again, this is like saying -4, 4, and 8, where this is my y and this is my x. Same thing with this. That's my y and that's my x. So that's like saying you don't have those points on there. So all I did is split it apart so that you can see that there's two different lines. It also tells you that that's y1 and that's y2. So that's another hint for you to know that it's asking for two different, or that it has two different lines. Okay, so I'm going to go to stat. I'm going to press enter. Type in -4, 4, and 8. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, all I'm doing is typing over the numbers. I don't have to delete anything. You can, but since they have the same number of x's and y values, you don't have to delete it. You can just type over it. Okay, so there's that problem. I'm going to go press stat. Remember here, stat. Stat. I'm going to go to the right. I'm going to press 4. And I'm going to enter 5 times. So A is 2 and B is 3. So I'm going to write it. So I'm going to say y1 is equal to -2x plus 3. So now I've done 1. So now I'm going to go back to this one. I'm going to go back to stat. And now I'm going to type in this set of y's. So -7, 1, and 5. Stat over 4, and I'm going to enter 5 times. So here A is 1 and B is -3. Now what I'm going to remind you is that since x is 1, you do not have to write the 1 in front. So since the A is 1, you don't have to write it. Remember, there's an imaginary 1 there if it's an understood 1. And since that's a -3 or a -3, I write it as a -3. So these are my two equations, and that's my answer. Okay, so let's look at the last one. Number 3. This one's really different just because it looks different. And it doesn't give you the points right away. So you can actually still use stat on this. You should know that this point is 0, -4, and this point right here is 4, -3. So we're going to call this one y1. So I'm going to go back to stat again, and I'm going to type in these two ordered pairs. So my numbers are 4 and 0 for the x. Now this is what I was talking about earlier. I don't need that third number, so I'm just going to delete it. So I'll show you here. Try to have them both on there. So there's the delete button. I press delete and it goes away. If you want to delete them all, you can. Okay, so now I have, for the y's, I have -3 and -4. So stat over 4, enter 3 times. Okay, so I have 0.25 for my x and sorry, 0.25 for my a and -4 for my b. So usually they like the slope as a fraction. So you would just press 0.25 math, enter twice, and it gives it to you as a fraction. So again, you would press math, which is right here, and enter twice. So the equation was y equals, so y1 equals 1/4 x minus 4. Alright, and then this one, we're going to go try to find another line. Just so happens to be that it's on the y-intercept. That point is 0, -1. So now I'm going to go use that other point, since that's actually our solution right there, but not what it's asking for. Press stat, enter. Okay. So our x's are the same on this one, but our y for this one should be -1. So I'm going to press stat over 4, enter 5 times. So this one is -0.5 and -1. So -0.5 or 0.5 you should know is half. But just in case, so -0.5, I'm going to press math and enter twice. So -1/2. So y equals -1/2. And then it was -1. And there's your answer. Okay, so on these, basically what you're looking for the sets of pairs for your x and y values. You put it into stat. If you didn't write that down, go ahead and write it down now. Those are the steps. Remember, when I grade this, I'm going to be looking to see, did you copy this down? If you didn't, those are points that I'm taking off. Anything that I write, you need to make sure that you're writing. Okay, so now for the rest of the time, you can finish your assignments from Tuesday and Wednesday.